Welcome to the Magnetic Mismatch Show. My name is Linda.
And this is Will. What's going on, everybody?
So what's the topic today?
Wait, hold on before that. You're on vacation now, officially.
I am.
How do you liking it?
I love it.
But what's vacation mean, though? That means you're home 24/7 with me.
With you.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so vacation for you, yes, love. Lots of love.
I love torturing you.
You love torturing me.
I
do. Okay, actually, you're right. Let's move on to the topic then.
I'm so good at it.
You are really good at it. So today's topic is a prenup a good idea? Should we get a prenup?
I have that Rihanna song stuck in my head.
What's the Rihanna song you're thinking of?
The Better Have My Money.
Blank better have my money.
Yeah.
Blank better have my money. Obviously, she doesn't say blank, but This is a PG, family-friendly podcast.
But that song is like drilled in my head.
Dude better have my money. No. Bro better have my money. Yeah, wow. That's a heavy-ish one.
Yeah, it is. But what is a prenup?
That's a loaded question. So we did a little research, actually, before doing this.
And disclaimer, we are in no position to give legal advice. We are not attorneys or lawyers, but this is what our research shows, right? Or what we
kind of based on what we know,
what we
found. But yeah, for sure. I mean, do I look like an attorney?
No.
Come on now. I'd be in a suit right now. So anyways, so what we found is that from our understanding and what we know, a prenup is just a legally binding contract between the two spouses or people that are planning on getting married. And within that contract, you two people get to decide exactly how you want to split your assets in the case of divorce or death or, whatever happens kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be assets.
I said kind of ding. Anyways.
I heard that. I'm like,
and you just trying to...
Where did that come from?
That was so random. Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so... Man, it's all that coffee today. And you had green... Matcha green
coffee,
latte or whatever.
Me torturing you. I don't know.
Being here all day with me so far. We need a break. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that's...
Break from each other, talking about prenups. And no, I'm just kidding. It's like, damn. So we were saying it's a contract, obviously.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to just be financial or assets. It could be other things.
Yes, pretty much whatever you want to write in there as a clause in terms of how you settle things within the marriage or whatnot. So we actually looked up some examples of some prenups, like celebrities that have done it, just to see,
curious.
Just to be, because we know how marriages typically end for celebrities, and so it was kind of interesting. Some pretty funny ones, actually. You want to share one? Yeah,
like Jessica Simpson and Tony Romo. They didn't get married. But they had a prenup.
Yes.
Right?
Prenup drawn up. Yeah.
Yeah, on Jessica's weight.
Right. So it wasn't even about money. It was like a lifestyle agreement, right? Or something like that?
Something like that. For every pound she gained.
Over 135 pounds.
Yeah, he gets money.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Holy moly. Wow.
Oh man.
And apparently she agreed to it, right? I mean, obviously they never got married, so it never got put in force, but I was like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that in a prenup.
Yeah, with that prenup, I wouldn't go through with it either.
Yeah. Do you think in that situation it would be for us, like if we did something like that, it'd be
you.
It would be me. Yeah. I would be the one that
the odds would be
I
higher.
have to maintain my figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with how it was before where I was eating so badly and
because without me.
That's true. I've gotten healthier and I've lost weight. So
you would gain the weight, so I would gain some money.
So so that was one example. The other one was Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting too.
Yeah.
It's like, so they set it up in the prenup where if their marriage ended less than 2 years into it, then Beyonce would get 10 mil, which, I mean, for her,
she's a boss.
that's not really
That's
a whole lot, but
it's like a penny.
But there is some financial aspect to it, right? And then also she would get $5 million for every kid that they had together, which that's pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
So the prenup really is just up to the two people how you want to set things up.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool if you think about it.
Yeah, and you do it when you two are still in love.
In love and on good terms,
On good
on cloud nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's coming from a good place in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't killed each other yet.
No.
Yes. Or you don't hate each other's guts yet.
Yet.
Hopefully you never have to put in divorce, but
things happen.
Life happens, and you just never know, right?
Yeah.
So, and we're not saying that you have to get a prenup, obviously.
Yeah.
But what we are saying is, and we'll talk about this, is just through lessons learned, through experience, that you should at least consider it, talk about it, and see if it's good for you guys.
See if it's the right fit.
Yeah, because there are people that maybe decide after they talk about it that it's not something they want, and both people are on board with that.
Yeah.
Which is totally okay.
Yeah. I could see the downside of a prenup too. Right? Some people may feel like by doing a prenup, it taints the relationship. Like you don't think this relationship will last forever. Right? You're going against your vows.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I could see how someone can think that way.
Yeah.
I think when we talked about it, I got offended because you brought it up. And because you're like, oh, we should. I mean, it was later on, right? Obviously, when we didn't have as much time.
Yeah.
But I think when you brought it up, I was like,
wait a minute.
Wait, you don't believe in love or something? And you were like responding quick. What was your response? Do you remember?
No, I said, no, I believe in transparency.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, you had that answer like ready.
I guess it could come off as, I guess bringing it up is real. It's kind of hard.
It's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, right? And I think it may make the other person feel like, wait, does my partner have something to hide?
Like suspicious.
Yeah, suspicion. Something they're not telling me about.
Yeah.
Why do you want the prenup? Are you after my money?
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. It would be, do you have some hidden money you're not telling me about?
Or it could be debts.
Oh, right? Debts too.
Yeah. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
So it can cause someone to maybe put their guard up a little bit, right? And get defensive like I did, where I was like, what? Wait, what? I wasn't expecting that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But I can see that as a downside. Or sometimes people might think it's also like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where you haven't even gotten married yet, and you're thinking about, well,
the breakup.
When things go wrong, here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, the breakup. So I can see how that can be going through someone's mind if we're talking about a subject like this. Especially it's kind of touchy. It's not something you just normally would talk about.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're at that point in the relationship where you guys have decided, hey, we're planning on getting married and being together forever, quote unquote, right? Then it needs to be talked about. Yeah,
that's kind of like having a fire extinguisher in the house, right?
Just in case.
You're not going to, most likely won't, or knock on wood, that you won't need to use it. But if there's a fire, you might have to.
And you're glad you have it.
Yeah.
For sure. Just your insurance policy. Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So before maybe like you decide whether to get one or not, maybe consider the positives that can come from having, that kind of contract in place. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like, because there are pros to it. Obviously, there's people that do get a prenup.
Yeah. Or talk about it with a legal advisor.
Yes.
That's why there's professional.
Don't just listen to this podcast and like, well, the Will and Linda said this.
I need a prenup now.
Yeah. All of a sudden, we're going to cause some fights within couples and stuff.
No, that's not what we want.
No.
This channel is only about love, right?
It's all love, baby.
It's all love.
Yeah. It's all good vibes and love.
Yeah. But talk to a professional legal advisor, right? That's what they're there
Get
for.
the guidance.
Yeah, get the guidance, get more information, see if it's right for you.
Right. And I think it just varies too, right? Depending
Yeah.
on the state you live and stuff like that. The laws may be different. So, yeah, talk to a professional first and foremost.
Yeah.
But from our conversation with each other, we did figure there's some positives that could come from having an agreement like this in place.
Yeah, it provides transparency.
Yeah, you definitely let me know. That was number one, transparency.
I mean, I think transparency is important. Like you said, you lay out all your debts, all your assets, everything on the table. So really, there's nothing to hide left. Where you go into this marriage knowing exactly what you're getting into. Because I may not be comfortable knowing that, let's say you have this giant debt that I might have to inherit. Well, in our situation, it's the other way around. It's called student loans for me.
Yeah. I mean, debt is a little bit more complicated. It could, depending on what kind of debt it could be, right? All sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Because some debt doesn't carry over, but, it just depends on what it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So transparency.
Yeah.
It probably gives that person comfort too, right? I mean, being able to have that transparency, you just feel better. You get peace of mind. Knowing that, hey, everything's on the table. I don't have to worry about, is this person that I'm about to spend the rest of my life with hiding stuff from me? And if they're hiding stuff like this from me, what else are they hiding from me?
Yeah. It's true.
It just creates like this suspicion, this tension, right? Unnecessarily. Who knows?
Yeah. And it'll feel so much better. And once you get to talk about it with your significant other or your spouse.
Right. Because you never know what the other person is thinking, right? Maybe you'll uncover some stuff that you wouldn't otherwise have known if you didn't actually just talk about it and ask. Yeah. And listen.
Yeah. Listen to how they feel. Listen to what they want.
What their concerns are.
Yeah.
Right? It might bring up some crazy stuff.
And I think it's important when you're doing a prenup to vocalize what you want to, right?
That's true.
Don't just let the other one person dominate the prenup, because you have to be able to feel okay about signing this legal document.
Right.
You're legally binded to it.
You want it to be fair.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you.
Whatever that means to you.
Yeah, you're right. So that you have a voice in the matter, because you're creating this document and contract together. You want to make sure you put in your honest opinion and your wishes.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want that other person to just create this in their favor. Then it's like, well, why do we even have this agreement in the first place? Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. And I think it protects, let's say if you come into the relationship with kids, it protects the kids. Or if you are going to have kids, it protects your future child or children as well. Right?
Yeah.
That way, that if something does happen to the relationship, that they'll be taken care of with the assets being divided however you think it's fair.
Right.
Like Beyonce, right? With every child, she gets a sum, like an amount of money, which they should, I think. I might get in a lot of trouble right now, but yeah, right?
So you think she deserves money for popping out kids?
No, it's not that. The money is used to raise the child. So that way the other one person doesn't get stripped dry and they get the kids as well. Then now the kid suffers.
That's true.
Or the children suffers because, the financial situation can dramatically change, and they may be accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and now the person might not get anything.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen to them?
So you might be able to put in like a clause to protect that spouse or those kids, or like say if the marriage ends in divorce, then one of the working spouse or whatever is responsible for alimony or making sure that we can maintain that person's lifestyle or whatever it is.
Or at least for the children.
Yeah.
Right?
Or if someone cheats in the relationship, they might get a lump sum.
Yeah.
You could do that too, right? In that contract.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. Like, again, you can do a whole lot of stuff.
You can tailor it to your relationship.
Right. And I think when you just talk about it before the marriage, it's going to save a lot of headaches down the line. It's going to, maybe it'll cause some tension in that short term. But initially, I think, like you were saying, you'll feel better just having gone through that discussion or process, Yeah.
Because, divorce can turn
it's 50% too.
Ugly very fast.
Yeah. It can escalate.
And then, family and friends can start getting involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than just the two of you.
Right.
So I think by having something settled prior to marriage, and when you both are in a really good state of mind, a fair state of mind, or
right,
it's not malicious.
Like I'm not trying to attack you or prevent you from getting what what's fair for you.
What's fair,
yeah.
Or maybe the person during the divorce, they might not even be thinking straight.
Oh, that's true. They're so emotional.
They're so
right?
emotional, and they're emotional. Their mind is clouded by all these thoughts, or if something bad happens and now this anger sets in, and they may not be this malicious person.
Usually,
normally,
that's not in their personality, but this triggered it. Something triggered it.
Things can change,
and they could be in that moment so emotionally charged that they're doing something out of character. And they might be coming from a place, because, we've all been there, where like you get so upset about something or angry.
You want to take it out on another person.
You want to just hurt the other person, right? Not physically, but verbally, right?
Verbally, or in this case, it's assets.
I'm going after your pockets. I'm going after
everything.
Your bank, your money. And it's kind of that, you see it, unfortunately, where that's how they, let me one-up you. Let me hurt you in the way that I know best in this situation in a divorce, which is financially, which sucks. Because then, especially like you were saying, if they have kids,
it hurts the kids.
The kids are ultimately the ones that are going to suffer the most, when they have
their family and friends
and the relationships and everything. Yeah.
And I think, the prenup will help prevent that in the case if that does occur.
At least I don't know if it'll prevent it completely. Nothing can, right? You never know what can happen.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying. At least there's some foundation to go off of. At least there was some sort of planning that was done in advance. Mm-hmm. Like you said, when you guys were on good terms and you were still in that honeymoon phase in love, and, you're not thinking about hurting each other. You just want what's best for the other person. But if, stuff happens and the marriage turns sour, someone does something to, whatever. It could be nobody's fault too.
Yeah.
It's just maybe, hey, we don't want to be together anymore, whatever it is. Then it's not coming from a place of emotion and trying to hurt the other person. It's still coming from a place of, hey, well, this was created out of love. This document was created from love versus anger and wrath.
Yeah.
And I want to tear everything up. That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Well.
And what did we do though in our situation? Because we're talking about it, and the reason we're talking about it is because, unfortunately,
we didn't do one.
We didn't do one before we got married, and that was because it was her fault.
No, it wasn't. Hey. No, because we thought, I brought it up, but it was a little late.
Yeah. I don't know why though. Like it just didn't cross our mind.
Yeah, I think we were just so caught up in the moment, the excitement. I had family flying in from all over the country.
We were buying a house.
Yeah, it was just a lot
there was a lot on our plate.
It was just
The
a lot of
planning
excitement
yeah.
that we didn't think about
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
I think that happens to a lot of people, right? Where it's like you don't mean to, but I mean, that's one of the happiest days of people's lives is to get married. And so the last thing on your mind is like, well, what if this doesn't work? I mean, maybe if you're getting cold feet a little bit, you probably feel a little bit of the jitters and, have a little bit of doubt. No. I mean, not me. I'm saying other people.
Oh, other people.
Other people. I was, 100%.
Sure.
I was like, I was born for this moment, like not a bit of doubt or anything like that.
Is that why you picked up your tux the day before their marriage?
Yeah, because I knew it was going to all work out.
You didn't even bother trying on the tux? I
tried it on the other one before.
We had to scramble the week before the wedding to find you a tux. Not even a week.
Those are just details. Okay?
5 days before the wedding.
Damn, man. I got pretty lucky.
You got lucky.
Those are all details. Those don't matter. Okay. What matters.
Well, you would have walked down the aisle wearing jeans.
What matters is that it all worked out, did it not? we ended up getting married. I looked fine in my suit.
Tux.
Oh, tux.
We found you
a tux. That's right. We went from a suit to a tux.
No. I ordered you a tux. You didn't bother to try it on. You tried on that tux 5 days before the wedding and realized that you did not like it.
What matters is that it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, I guess. But anyway, let's not get distracted.
Too sidetracked.
Sidetracked from
the topic. Yes.
So there was a lot of excitement.
We were on a high and we were, obviously working out the details with everything. There's so much that goes into planning and so much you don't think about. So that was the last thing on our minds, it just didn't even click.
Yeah.
And it's not like we didn't know about like people getting prenups. Again, we didn't do enough research either. We didn't know that much detail about it. It was just like, oh, we've heard people say like, oh, it's a good idea to get one, right? Or to think about getting one.
But we didn't do our research on it.
So.
Yeah. So the takeaway is do your research.
Yeah.
Consult a legal professional. And just talk about it early on in the relationship, even
first date topic or
no, maybe like second.
At least second date, right?
At least wait for the second date.
At least wait for the second. Yeah, I mean, if you can see a future with that person and you've been dating for a little while now and things are getting serious, I mean, when you're in that situation.
At least talk about it early on.
That's all we're saying, right? We're not saying whether you should get one or not, but definitely talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it.
Because that way you can find out.
Mm-hmm. That way you can do one hopefully before you get married.
Yes.
But we found out that it's not end of the world.
It's not?
No.
What do you mean?
We were thinking of a post-nup. Remember we talked about it?
Yes.
We haven't done one yet.
Right.
But we will at some point. And when we do, we may make an updated video on what happened on the post-nup.
Post-nup, yeah, not post-up. We're not playing basketball here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's true. So it's not the end of the world. And it's still something that, I mean, it's not necessarily the same as a prenup. And there may be some, legal stuff from there, complications or whatever it is. But I feel like it's worth investigating and looking into.
Yeah.
And seeing if there's at least some layer of protection, right?
Yeah.
So good, because it's not the end of the world, whether you decide to get one or not. I think all we're trying to say is because we didn't do one and we learned through the hard way, through experience, that it's probably a good idea to at least investigate it and get some information, talk about it, discuss it well in advance, if possible, of the actual marriage date, the wedding date. So, anything else you want to add?
No,
it's pretty straightforward stuff, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think the biggest takeaway is just to communicate with each other, right?
Listen.
And agree. Whether you decide to do a prenup or not, at least you mutually agreed on the terms.
Right. And I think that's a great just exercise to see how you guys communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, it could, if it turns really ugly and you end up fighting and doing all this stuff that's nasty, right? And this is before you're getting married.
Yeah.
Then that might be a sign, like how will you guys approach other topics or other things that come up in the marriage, right? Because marriage is hard, man. We've only been married for a year. It's been good, but
there are lots
there are moments
we have to work through. It's
you have
not
to work
easy.
through, and it's really just about this, communication, talking, right? It's as cliche as that sounds,
and just being respectful of each other.
I think that's one of the things we've definitely gotten better with, for sure, after marriage too, especially, is I know I've become a better listener, especially when we're emotionally charged at that moment, or we're upset about something, or you do something that annoys me. Usually that's the way it is.
Oh, okay.
Let's say you do something like a pet peeve or something, then I take a deep breath, don't say anything. Yeah, woosah. And before I speak, and I learned this from you actually, right? Because
I walk away.
Yeah, well, before I didn't understand that. I'm like getting pissed and annoyed.
Because you're pissed because I didn't want to talk anymore.
Right. I'm like, why am I the one talking? And like you're just not even saying anything.
Yeah. Just don't want to say something that I regret.
But then I think afterwards, when we got cooled our heads, that's when you explained to me that the reason you did that was because you didn't want to say something in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
And you also wanted some time to actually think
things through first.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Not easy to do.
No, not easy to do.
And, I think for me at that moment, it was like, I want to fix it right then and there, because I'm like, oh, we're getting into an argument or whatever.
Yeah.
And now I want to fix it.
Yeah.
And then you would just be like, la, 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 la. No, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
You would be pretty cool about it. You wouldn't say anything.
No.
But I would know you're upset.
Cool as a cucumber.
Oh, okay. No, I've seen you when you get boiled up for sure.
Oh.
Like any couple.
Okay.
But anyways, we'll leave it at that. That could be another topic for another day.
But I guess that's it.
Yeah, wrap it up.
Until next time, make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel at The Magnetic Mismatch. Follow us on Instagram. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, then iTunes, make sure you
Stitcher, all those different platforms.
Make sure you download the podcast
and give us 5-star ratings.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, guys.